is this device. Josiah Shem accidentally shattered space-time. I used it as the basis for my technology to access liminal spaces so we could feed the artifact.
Who really was Josiah Shem, and what is the device he created? With the research I've done, I believe I have found out who Josiah Shem is, what the device is used for, and with all this information, I believe we can rewrite the Dark Aether timeline. Now, let's start with the beginning of Black Ops 6 Zombies in Liberty Falls, where Josiah Shem is first mentioned. The first piece of information we are fed about Josiah Shem takes place in Liberty Falls through intel. This intel is called The House Josiah Built. Here's a listen.
Chief of Security, John Blanchard. Inspected construction today. Project's really coming together, but I keep thinking about how my granddad wouldn't take me to Fort Washita when I was a kid. I wanted to do their bullshit ghost tour for Halloween. Sounded like dumb fun. Sorry, Johnny. That place is bad medicine. Granddad actually used those words, and he meant it. Now I'm starting to think the same thing might be true about the mansion. I'd like to believe Josiah Shem didn't know what he was doing when he had his flock build the place. If he did, then he got what he deserved. Shem's folly. Ain't that the truth? Every owner after him, captains of industry, gangsters, you name it. All their money and power couldn't save them. Shit like that doesn't just happen without other forces at work. Granddad knew that. But that's where the director wants to bunk down. And I can't talk him out of it. So my job's making sure he doesn't end up like everyone else who moved into the murder mansion. Lucky me.
Just from this intel alone, we discovered that Josiah had the house built, it has some weird properties, and it's known as a murder mansion. Why is it called a murder mansion? We now know through intel in Shatter Vale, thanks to someone named Tammy Lundberg doing her PhD thesis research. Here's the intel.
Tammy Lundberg, PhD thesis research log, recording 5, February 4th, 1979. I'm pleased to report I finally have a complete timeline of my excavation site at the estate. No thanks to Patty over at Liberty Falls Archival Library, who gave me the runaround for weeks due to her record mismanagement. Bless her heart, I was able to retrieve what I needed. So, 1770, Josiah Shem takes the land from the natives with brute force and builds like crazy. He procures hundreds of followers who, along with himself, all mysteriously disappear in 1810. Oh, note that I will be conducting a separate and thorough deep dive into Shem. 1815, a descendant of a president is gifted the house. Over the next 100 years or so, a slew of fat cats snap up the house, most notable, a steel tycoon. His campaign against the labor union got him murdered in his bed by an angry mob. There's also this bootlegger, Fats Malloy, whose party got shot up by the feds in 1923. The place has been empty since the mid-70s when nuclear plant owner Sam Colton was assassinated by the widow of his dead employee. Now, people say this place is haunted or cursed. I think big houses attract rich assholes, and sometimes they get what's coming to them. However, Shem and his flock disappearing, that one does give me pause.
So Shem built the house in 1770, and him and his cult disappeared in 1810. The importance of these dates is this is the first event in the Dark Aether timeline by over 100 years. Let me correct. First human events that happened in Dark Aether. There was stuff that happened at the dawn of time or whatever. I don't like Vanguard. But the first canon events in the Dark Aether story are the birth of Strauss and Gabriel Croft, which happened before World War II. This predates that by over 100 years. This is the first human event that happened in the Dark Aether story. Through Tammy's intel, we learned that it's called the Murder Mansion because Josiah Shem and his cult mysteriously vanished. And with this intel alone, we aren't really sure of what happened to Josiah Shem and his cult, but through other intel on Shattered Vale, we know exactly why. In this intel, Tammy is back telling us why this location for the mansion being built was a point of interest for Josiah Shem.
Tammy Lundberg, PhD thesis research log recording 84, July 16th, 1980. Oh, I've barely seen my bed. Even the sun is a rare sight these days. Since uncovering the subterranean caves underneath the estate, it's been non-stop. I now know those caverns are why Shem pushed the natives off this land. They were communing with something down there. He believed, and I concur, that this is a place of power. Where that power comes from, I can't yet say. My instruments react to the energy down there, but they tell me nothing definitive. I've also uncovered that Shem was a very charismatic zealot, promising his followers immortality. Said every snake oil salesman since the dawn of time. I'm quite certain those caverns hadn't been disturbed since the 1800s. There was no vandalism, no evidence of vagrancy, not a trace of the modern world. There is clear evidence of ritualistic ceremonies, not satanic, something else. I can't deny I do feel something tugging at me when I'm down there. Well, it's important to note at this point that sleep deprivation could be affecting my senses. Observations of that sort are irrelevant for the purpose of my thesis.
The subterranean cave Tammy is talking about is where the giant snake/worm statue is in the reflector step for the Easter egg. Now, I don't know if I'm the only one to make this connection, but this looks a lot like the worm boss from Modern Warfare Zombies. Tammy suggests that there are ritual activities going down in these caves, and they're not satanic rituals, but there's something else, which makes us conclude that these are dark aether rituals. This could also mean Josiah Shem is the first canon demonologist, aside from Gabriel Croft. Now, if Josiah Shem was doing these rituals and was being promised immortality, that means he was communicating to something on the other side of the dark aether. Could this be the first interaction with Cortifex with a human? Or could it be something completely different than Cortifex? Through intel, we're able to listen in on one of these rituals that Josiah Shem is conducting.
Attend me, brethren. With this sacrifice, we conclude the second rite. The glorious hour of our ascension draws nigh. We, who have toiled sore long these 40 wretched years. We, who have endured the bile, scorn, and pity of Liberty Falls and its shape. We, who in this year of the Lord 1810, here in this most holy and sanctified of places, shall reap the just rewards of our labors and be remade by Him. Behold, brothers and sisters, Aldebaran rises. Blessed Taurus turns its mighty eye to witness our supplications. Rejoice, for we shall be the eternal guardians of a new garden that shall flourish, yea, unto all the ends of the earth. Great voice from beyond, hear your servants. May our prayers transcend the gulf between worlds
Did you hear what I heard? Because I 100% heard Josiah Shem utter the word the Deathless One, which 100% is Cortifex, confirming Josiah Shem is the first person to communicate with Cortifex. With those 4 pieces of intel, we now have a complete description and understanding who Josiah Shem truly is. Josiah Shem was a possible demonologist who had the mansion built in 1770 and started his own cult. He was the first person to communicate to the Dark Aether and attempt to make a deal with Cortifex for immortality for him and his cult. In 1810, he tried doing a ritual to get said immortality, but ended up being betrayed by Cortifex, who sent him to the Dark Aether without a trace. Now, Josiah's device is very complicated to me. For now, I'm just calling it Josiah's compass, just based off how it looks. With Richtofen saying this was Josiah's device, and Josiah probably knew how important this was, I believe he kept it along with him everywhere he went, and I believe in this portrait, it is right here. As for what the compass does, there's a lot of feats that this thing can do, such as shatter spacetime, which may mean it can control spacetime, access limited spaces, and feed the Sentinel artifact, which then we can determine it can manipulate prima materia. Looking at the compass, it reminded me a lot of the Eye of Apophis, which was an unused wonder weapon from Black Ops 4. If this is supposed to be the next generation summoning key or tool like the summoning key, we first need to compare what the two do. We know what Josiah's compass does, but here is what the summoning key can do. Now, the summoning key is absolutely busted. The summoning key can do reality warping, sealing, summoning, energy projection, portal creation, telekinesis, dimensional travel, time manipulation, soul manipulation, curse manipulation. It can hack into electronics. It also can create universes. Now, the summoning key is absolutely stronger than Josiah's compass, although Josiah's compass can do what the summoning key can do, but at a much smaller scale. Josiah's compass has the potential to be able to control prima materia, which is what makes up the essence of the universe. So potentially this compass has the ability to control / manipulate universes, just like it can control time and space and be able to teleport between dimensions. As far as what this device is and what it can do, we are very limited to 3 lines that Richtofen says, but I do believe this device will be a key component in bringing back the original Zombies crew. Let's quickly recap on what Josiah's compass can do. It can shatter / manipulate time-space. It has the ability to travel through limited spaces and has the potential to be able to control prima materia.